Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here, and as always, welcome to the channel, and of course, I hope that you are doing well. Welcome back indeed for another installment of the AFI Top 100 review, okay? For those who may be new to the channel, welcome, of course. And during the year of 2013, I'm systematically going through the AFI, the American Film Institute Top 100. I'm reviewing all the films. I'm talking about three things, okay? Three questions are being asked during these reviews. One, why is this film on the top 100? Two, and this was Megan's suggestion, thank you, Megan. Why does this film remain relevant, or is it at all? And number three, I look in this movie for a glimpse of divinity or spirituality. I kind of ask, where do I see God in this movie, or how do I see or detect God sort of watching me, even? That's a whole other video, my personal philosophy and theology of film. But that's what we're doing here on this series. I want to thank everyone who's watched over, who's clicked over and checked out these videos. I'm trying to keep them short, I'm trying to keep them interesting, and I hope that you guys are enjoying them. Thanks so much for watching and for the comments that you leave. I surely do appreciate it. Today we're considering number 88, 1938's Bringing Up Baby, starring Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. Now, the film is about a paleontologist, Grant, who on the eve of his wedding, the day before his wedding, meets a sassy, free-spirited young lady, Hepburn, and the film is about the antics that ensue, including but not limited to the presence of one baby. I just don't want to spoil it though for you. It's a delightful, light, fun film, okay? Why is it on the AFI Top 100? Well, as you know, I'm a big fan of targeting different actors and actresses, and here we have two of the very finest in Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. And so, of course, I'm going to say their presence alone in their second of 4 film collaborations, okay? That's a good reason for this film, to be on the AFI Top 100. As well, it is something of note as far as a comedic piece goes. Now, we're going to see more comedies on the AFI Top 100. In fact, I think number 85, let me check, I don't want to say it and regret it. Indeed, 85, number 85, is A Night at the Opera, a comedy film from the Marx Brothers, which is 3 years older than Bringing Up Baby. And so, you know, the AFI is not light at all when it comes to comedy films. But there's something special here, especially between the collaboration of Hepburn and Grant. And for those who have not seen it, you know, A Night at the Opera is not a romantic comedy, but this is. And in its own way, Bringing Up Baby feels very much to me like what so many other romantic comedies will become. I mentioned before, I'm going to keep talking about it. I think about Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, who were in so many romantic comedies, so on and so forth, okay? Is it relevant for today? Well, absolutely, and for that exact same reason, because we see a blueprint here. We see a blueprint in this film for what would become not only comedy, but romantic comedy. And also, I think this movie remains so relevant because it is such a beautiful contrast of comedic relevance. The things that audiences laughed at in 1938 are things that we would not laugh at today. But I think that's relevant to see the progression of what audiences will accept. I remember Liz Lemon, Tina Fey, saying on 30 Rock one time that, you know, oh, back in the 40s and 50s you could get away with anything, you know. And what she really meant was that, you know, those even simple things, simple plot twists, simple character development was enough for audiences because they were used to simpler movies that weren't quite as complex, didn't quite take quite as many turns, and all of that. And you see that here in this film. And something that really struck me as I watched it was how distant it felt from the comedic films of today. And I'm thinking of, in movies, I'm thinking of The Hangover and stuff like that. But I'm also thinking about TV with like The Office and 30 Rock and the comedy shows there. But then I also thought about how similar some of these things were as well. How similar some of the devices were, especially, but not limited to, animals. Okay? I'm just going to let that one hang for a little bit. There's an interesting production note in this film that speaks to me something about the spiritual life. Katharine Hepburn, the role was written for her. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm very tired. I always film these very late at night. I should be more quiet because my wife and baby are sleeping in the bedroom. By baby, I mean baby in utero. Victoria will be 14 weeks in just a few days. Anyway, this role was very much designed, written with Hepburn in mind, okay? And the time came for her to start filming, and they only, of course, in these days, shoots were very short. I don't think they even really had 2 months to film the whole thing, maybe just about 2 months. And at first, Hepburn, she was overacting and trying too hard to be funny. You know what that looks like when someone who's maybe known for their more dramatic work tries really, really hard to be funny, or vice versa, right? Someone who's a comedic actor is going into a dramatic role and tries too hard to be serious. Well, that's what was happening here. And so as a result, they hired a well-known vaudevillian actor. Of course, vaudeville's still very popular at the time, maybe falling out of the limelight, but still popular. They hired this person to help Hepburn with her acting. And what they found was that, she was definitely trying too hard, and she didn't have to try at all. Her normal tempo and her normal personality was exactly what the film needed. She didn't have to be someone else for this movie. And she literally played herself. I have something of this experience. When I was in college, I was in Fiddler on the Roof. I was fortunate enough to land the lead part of Tevye. And I don't know that I ever really said this to anyone since, but I didn't act at all. I just played myself. A conflicted believer in God, a family man, a merry man, someone who's concerned about his family and the well-being of his family and his friends. I just played myself with a little bit of an accent. I was just myself, and I really fell into the role that was meant for me, I suppose, just as this role had been designed for and meant for Audrey Hepburn. Excuse me. And I immediately thought of what Jesus said about trying to be or appear to be someone you're not, or trying to impress. Remember, that's what Hepburn, thought would impress the director and Cary Grant, I suppose, and people on the set. If she came in and she was real bombastic and they would laugh a lot, well, they didn't laugh a lot. They hated it. they disliked it very much. And Jesus said, suffice to say, he said, look, don't go out there and try to make yourself a spectacle as if thinking that by being a spectacle, you're going to draw people to me or to yourself. No, no, no. If you're, and he's specifically talking here, I'll read the verse to you. I don't want to misquote, get off track. It simply said, beware of practicing your righteousness before men to be noticed by them. Jumping ahead a couple verses, when you pray, you are not to be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners, so that they may be seen by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full, or they're going to get what's coming to them. But you, when you pray, go into your inner room. By inner room, he doesn't mean an actual room, right? He can also mean the room of the heart. Close your door, close yourself off, and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Now, there's a lot there in those couple verses, okay? And consequently, in just a couple more verses, Jesus gives us the perfect prayer to use to get close to God. And we call that the Lord's Prayer or the Our Father. But what he said in light of what Katharine Hepburn went through in preparation for this role is so striking. She came in trying to be someone else, and it failed. She came in trying to fit the role perfectly. She wanted perfection, but she forced it, and she lost it. And how often have we done the same in our spiritual lives, in our relationships, where we saw the need and we were so aggressive toward it that we ended up changing ourselves, okay, to do this thing. And really, what was needed was our true self, our whole self. I'm telling you right now, I can't go into that bedroom down the hallway and pretend to be anyone but my true self with my wife. It won't work, okay? She'll look at me like, what are you doing? And she knows that by trying to be someone else, I'm not going to fulfill the role that God gave me to be her husband. It's the same when I'm behind the piano on Sunday morning and leading people in worship during Mass, okay? Can't try to pretend to be Billy Joel, okay? That's not my role. That's not me, all right? I suppose it's the same in your life too, perhaps. What the world really needs is you. And what God really wants is you. The truest version of yourself, a whole complete version of yourself that you can offer to Him. That's precisely why in the words of the Lord's Prayer, Jesus offered us this line, this phrase to pray, your kingdom come, your will be done. Or another way of saying, we can say, God, help me to fit into the role that you have for me and help me to do it as myself, not to be someone else. Bit of a challenge, but a very interesting and I think very true reflection, okay, from this film. From a fun, super delightful comedy, but I think, again, for me, a very telling reflection on the true self. And so thank you, Ms. Hepburn, for helping us with this point of reflection. Number 88, Bringing Up Baby. I do recommend it to you. Absolutely. Check it out, okay? Coming up real soon is number 87, 12 Angry Men. Wow! What a revelation that was. I so enjoyed it. Definitely not a comedy. Definitely not like this, like this film. But that's what's so beautiful about the AFI Top 100 and this process that we're going through together. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. As always, like and subscribe if you care to on YouTube, okay? If you have a YouTube account, click the like button, click the subscribe button. Follow me for the rest of the AFI Top 100. And truly, I do hope that you are doing very well. Thanks. Bye. So, got the wrong... Whoop, wait.